And so this is something that, I was really pleased that these two gentlemen came to Bali to experience the BVR ONE ecosystem. Because, what we're developing and building and transitioning from our business into the tokenization world and the blockchain world is super special.
For us, when we landed, it was this experience of the entire ecosystem from beginning to end, all integrated. From the second we got picked up to the second we walked in here, everyone knew who we were addressing us by name, knew where we needed to be, what we needed to do, and it was this, very coherent experience. And that's very similar to what is being done on the technical side, right? This idea of an entire interconnected network.
But I ended up having the biggest smile on my face because it was such a, where we're staying, the very Moore and it is so gorgeous, and the staff is so nice. I was just like, Herb is legit, BVR is legit.
We're gonna rock it like Herb. Rock it like Herb.
Welcome, rockers, to Rock It Like Herb. Rock your body, rock your mind, rock your soul. And we're here today to get to chat with two super people in the space of tokenization, real world assets, cryptocurrency, and their abilities and skills over many, many years of combined knowledge. And we're really happy to have them in Bali. I met them when I was in Abu Dhabi, and we had a really good connection, and we really are enjoying, our relationship and how that's evolving over time. They flew in from the US and they've come to Bali to witness the BVR ONE and the BVR ecosystem. And both of them are knowledgeable in several things. But specifically, there's a gentleman here that has been involved with raising capital and building bridges and relationships and networking. And the other gentleman is with us. He's very knowledgeable on the numbers, on the structures, on the financing, on the review and valuations of businesses and the growth of businesses. And so the combination of both of their experiences, we're just super happy to have them involved in the BVR ONE and the ecosystem, reviewing, using their skills, their knowledge, and proving that what we are developing and what we are building is just dynamic. And so we're super happy to have them, and I'd like to introduce them to you and share with you the special guests that we have here today in Bali. So if you want to learn more about what I just said previously, about who these special guests are in the BVR ONE and their knowledge base, watch this video.
Jimmy Koo is a growth and fundraising expert who has helped startups unlock scale through powerful growth strategies and more than $540 million in additional funding. His impact extends across a portfolio of over 50 startups as an advisor and investor, including names such as Reddit, Bit2Me, Polygraph AI, and more. With a sharp focus on fintech, Web3, healthcare, and AI, Jimmy is known for identifying what's next and helping founders build it faster. He is also deeply passionate about fintech for social good and coordinates an annual gathering with Sir Richard Branson and the Virgin Unite team on Necker Island to explore ways to create meaningful, positive global impact.
Tristan Clinton is a fundraising and growth expert with a proven track record of helping businesses scale, raise capital, and unlock long-term value. Tristan began his career in M&A investment banking at Lincoln International, where he advised on strategic transactions and high-value deals. He later advanced into private equity at Alpine Investors, building expertise in business growth, acquisitions, and value creation. For the past 3 years, Tristan has worked closely with Jimmy, advising startups and founders on fundraising strategy, growth acceleration, and expansion, while also actively angel investing in companies.
So I'd like to introduce our two guests today, Jimmy and Tristan. Super glad to have you both here.
Yeah.
I think I did a bit of an introduction on your skill sets, where you're from, the U.S., and we're really happy to have both of you here. It's going to be a great chat, learning more about what it is you've done, what it is in your life that's important. One of the things that we're really excited about is our minor fitness program, and MFP, as we call it. And why I bring that up is because this morning, Tristan, coming from the U.S., very little sleep, but very dedicated to working out and training. Yeah. And we went out this morning. We had 4 hours sleep. We went to the gym and we pounded 2 hours in the gym, which was amazing. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow before you head out. Yeah. But it was epic. So as a fitness person and starting minor fitness program, this is a kind of alignment that we love to see. So I'll tell you a little bit about minor fitness program before we segment off. Just to give you a bit of context on it, is a lot of people often don't really put their actions behind their words. And one of the things that we're trying to do at BVR is to not be one of those companies. And why I say that is because you get founders, you get CEOs, you get managers, and they always talk about how great fitness is and that. But how do they embed that into the culture of the company? And really, at the end of the day, you need to take action, not just verbal, not just memos, not just statements. So what we've done is we've created an environment of qualification. And so our team, and we have an ambassador, we call it the MFP ambassador, Minor Fitness Program Ambassador. And we set up questionnaires, we set up a bit of information, and people qualify and they join. And we have three separate segments of MFP. One is fun run and walk, which we do quarterly, and everyone can participate in that. Second is we have twice a week where the company sponsors and promotes badminton. Badminton in Asia is a huge sport, and it's friendly, it's non-competitive, so anybody can play that as well. And the third is gym, fitness. So in this program, we have a qualifications, and people qualify for it, and the company steps forward and will buy memberships, yearly memberships for our team. So again, having said stepping behind what you do, BVR and its team, not just its leadership, really are embracing what health means and what fitness means. And one of the things we'll chat a little bit about is Tristan is very much into fitness. And when he heard about what we were doing, he obviously wanted to participate like we did this morning. And I was really blown away by how you aligned immediately with the mind, the body, and the soul, and how the importance of fitness really reflects in everyday life. Yeah. And so having said that, I'd really like for you to kind of segue away and give us yours, because you've done an amazing job.
Well, I'll start by saying that it really, the first thing I noticed was the leading from the front mindset, right? You're the first one in the gym. You're the one that invited me. It's very easy on vacation to say, no, I'll sleep in today, right? Yeah. But when you ask me and I accept, and when I go and you're a valuable training partner, I want to train with, it's the inspiration that gets people in. So that, for one, I think is important with a company like this, is you need to be setting the example for your employees, right? It's easy to be the one that's sitting behind the screen, sort of sending out policies that might look good, but this is something you actually believe in. We'll get into more about why making time for fitness is so important and how it spills into everything else in life, and how we see that as a positive reflection on all business practices and friendship practices. But my experience was great. We got up at 4, got there by 5:30, and Herb works hard, and it takes grit to do that off very little caffeine in the morning. And I think one thing that we really talked about is this idea, and you're especially cognizant of it at 5 a.m., which is you make time for the non-negotiables, right? They're non-negotiables, so you start with them and you find time for the other stuff. Great, and that's what we did. So, and then like I said, that's a great example for the employees. Not only are you giving them basically no excuse financially to not do it, but then you're also showing them that you have no excuse with your time to not do it. So you can budget for it financially, and you can budget for it with your time. Yeah.
No, it's very true. And that resonates obviously with what I said earlier about, how many people actually speak about it, but where's the action to support it? And the other thing that we chatted this morning, and being in the gym at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. as we were training, it gives us the opportunity to really reflect on fitness and how that connects to your everyday life. And, you know, when you look at your time, we all have a circle with 100% time. And when people say they don't have the time, it's never true, because fitness should be your first thing. And, you know, we talked about wealth generation yesterday and a few other things. And when you look at, you know, the people that have made it in life, when you call it made it wealthy, when their health goes, what else matters? Nothing. And so today when we were in the gym, you were, you know, sharing with your mind about when you are fitnessed and you're eating right and you're healthy and you're doing that, your mind is clear. Your objectives are clear, your goals are clear. And I was super impressed by, you know, how you shared your journey, your 4-year journey, and where you were and where you are today. It's amazing. I don't know if you want to give them a little bit about your 4-year journey and how it's changed your life in the fitness side.
Sure. So the simple one is getting into the gym is hard, because setting the habit is hard. You talk to anyone that's trying to get into the gym, they almost always have some reason why. It's a chore to them, right? We were reflecting on what a tremendous blessing to now be in a position where I look forward to. It's one of my favorite things to do in the day. The flywheel has taken off years ago, right? It's never going to stop. And I don't have to worry about fitness ever not being a part of my life. We're so far past that, because it's one of my best parts of my day. But early on, that's not the case. And so there needs to be some catalyst. And for me, it was tremendously lucky. In junior year of college, me and my roommate just decided to start going one day. And I picked up on it, stuck with it. I played tennis competitively through high school, and then didn't go to college for sports. So I always had a competitive outlet that I was missing when I got to college, and just latched on to weightlifting when I picked back up junior year. So I think one is I try to be cognizant of everyone gets into the gym for a different reason. And if they don't get lucky like me, and it's someone you care about, try to find something for them to get in the gym. I do that with my family members. I understand that the way it happened for me is very lucky, but that's maybe not how it would work for my mom. So just a reminder to everyone out there, and you, is when you find someone who you want to share this fitness journey with, is you need to get creative in finding ways to get them in and get that habit set up early. I think you owe it to them, because that's the part that you shouldn't expect of them. And I don't expect, because I was lucky to do it. But since then, it's been a great intellectual output. We were talking about how I really studied optimizing hypertrophy, which is, you know, the science of muscle building. So it's so much more rewarding than just learning how to work hard in the gym. It's also great for self-confidence. And I think if I had to boil it down to the one greatest thing that I've taken with it that's spilled into the rest of my life, is the self-confidence aspect. Being proud of who you are and you present it to anybody, it quite literally affects every part of my life, my relationships, my business relationships, even just going back into the gym. And that allows you to talk more eloquently. It allows you to not be, you know, at social anxiety, so you can think clear when you're out in stressful situations. And it also shows you that when you get to a point where you have a physique that you're very proud of, you've now realized, oh, I can just achieve things by working hard consistently, 1% every day. It really does add up. 4 years is a long amount of time, but now that it's been 4 years, it doesn't feel like that long of a time. And because fitness was never really a thing in my family, so it was never something I thought about. So that's been, I think, the biggest thing about the fitness journey. And we can talk more later about how that, you know, really talks as spilled into our business world when we get more in the business talk. But I think me really connected with that this morning is the mindset. It's so underrated what it does to your mindset, that you think, oh, you know, lifting heavy things in the gym, testosterone and this and that, but it's really not about that whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's what it does to cleanse your mind and your spirit, really, and shape your outlook on it.
Totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this is why, you know, we had a great connection this morning in the gym, and I look forward to it tomorrow. Just for those of you out there, there has been some questions about whether you've acted as a stunt double for Spider-Man. But, you know, we'll leave that to the audience to kind of review and ascertain. So no, it's been great. And you've done a wonderful job with your fitness and your muscle atrophy and all of that, managing it. So why we're bringing this up on the MFP is culture, and, you know, developing that foundation of culture within your team. And one of the things that, you know, we've been chatting about BVR ONE, video Zoom calls and numbers and forecasts and business and all of that. And that's one thing, but there's nothing better than coming and experiencing it. And so this is something that, I was really pleased that these two gentlemen came to Bali to experience the BVR ONE ecosystem, because, what we're developing and building and transitioning from our business into the tokenization world and the blockchain world is super special. And it's time for all the right reasons. And, you'll hear about more of that. But Jimmy, you've come from the Valley at San Francisco Bay, and you've been in the space for a long time. And, for both of you to come and experience the BVR ONE, it's just so powerful, because there's nothing like experiencing it. You've been involved in many startups. Some are, I'll let you explain which ones they are, but some are well known. You've been an angel investor, you brought VCs in, you've raised capital, you've seen startups, you've seen people, you've seen founders, what works, what doesn't work. You've been around, you've seen it, and that's wisdom, that's knowledge, that's experience. And you and I shared a little bit about the value of experience and what that means when you're actually going to put hard capital in, and time, because time sometimes is worth more than capital. So, having that experience, maybe you can share a little bit about how that trip to Bali has really cemented what you already knew intuitively, and now being here, you've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us
Absolutely.
here. Yeah, it's been an absolute privilege. And, we've talked about why it's a really transformative project, why it's so exciting, why we're a part of it. We shared a little bit of that in our conversation yesterday, and I'm happy to kind of dive further into it. But I think it really came to light when we saw it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's something you can't really, put it all together if you haven't actually gone through the experience. And so I can tell you a little bit about my experience, and I'd love to hear Tristan's experience as well. But for us, the whole idea of BVR ONE is the application of innovative new technology and utilizing it to make an impact on real world businesses. And there's a lot of things that people will utilize for crypto that are maybe not really helpful and really not really applied to the real world. So what was exciting about it was applying the two together. For us, when we landed, it was this experience of the entire ecosystem from beginning to end, all integrated. From the second we got picked up to the second we walked in here, everyone knew who we were addressing us by name, knew where we needed to be, what we needed to do. And it was this, very coherent experience. And that's very similar to what is being done on the technical side, right? This idea of an entire interconnected network, and utilizing kind of the new technology that's available for rewards, for helping, to build long-term value, to think about growth. I mean, there's just so much there. And we felt it from the moment we stepped off of the airport and saw your team member, the second we walked into these incredible villas that are out of this world, and everything throughout the experience since. So really experiencing it, being here, being able to see everyone who makes this happen on a day-to-day basis has been kind of eye-opening for me.
Yeah. Short answer is ditto. But the story I was telling Jimmy when we first got here, actually a little context. So we obviously see a lot of really cool things. We get to go do a lot of really cool experiences. It's the nature of working with awesome people. But we're also in the startup world, so we're also used to people talking up their businesses and talking up their technology and talking up their team, and not always delivering when you go in person, right?
Fair enough.
So when we got here, I told Jimmy after the fact, I said, Jimmy, when they were touring, so first of all, yes, to all this stuff, they knew my name, right? The attention to detail has been immaculate, to the point where, like, I'm walking through the villa, and I'm trying to be normal, because for the most part,
But Tom Holland is here, and everyone's really excited.
yes. So I try to be rather chalant about it, or nonchalant, I should say. But I ended up having the biggest smile on my face, because it was such where we're staying, the Barry Moore Villas, and it is so gorgeous, and the staff is so nice. There was just like, Herb is legit, BVR is legit, and it's really satisfying when you meet someone, right? Zoom is where we spent a lot of our time before this.
Yeah.
And okay, I understood you were serious about the technology and what we're doing with the tokenomics, right, in crypto. That's great. But to see that the real world assets that you're trying to tokenize back it up 100-fold, It's a really satisfying experience. So I was talking with Jimmy. I don't normally do this when we're getting introduced to a client or being toured around their facilities, but I just had a big grin on my face, and I was like trying to hide it, just a little bashful because, that's how it is. But
Well, you had one in the gym too.
yeah,
Yeah, it was good to get back into the gym after a long trip.
it really was. It really was.
I mean, we've been
Oh,
stuck
thank you,
in just
guys.
meetings and meetings upon meetings, and Tristan usually works out pretty much every day. He's got time set, and fortunately or unfortunately, the last leg of the trip where we were, it was just, I mean, packed schedules. There was no time to, unfortunately, there was really no time to work out. Then, and evenings we had things where we're curating and experiences as well, and meeting up with people. So it was good to be able to do that.
What you guys both have said earlier is you've had experience with a number of different startups at various stages. And it really is, cementing what intuitively I've known with years of experience in building businesses, and to get confirmation from you guys on legitimacy, the experience, how it all felt, how it ties together. And this is what the BVR ONE ecosystem is all about. I mean, you've experienced it in real world way, but now we're going to take the real world way and utilize the best of the digital technology and bring that into the real and take out all of those interrupters, all of those gaps, and make it seamless in a way that we can do because we have the technology. And, you guys have been great because you've seen real and what's out there digitally much more than I've been exposed to. And I've had this vision of tying the two together. And now with you guys coming and seeing, you're actually knitting that even tighter. And so we know now, without a shadow of a doubt, the technology can, if not already built, that we're going to integrate into that. And so you imagine that when you're traveling, when you're involved in everyday life and you're spending your hard-earned money, we get into this, and we've talked about this before as a real, world asset, but also the rewards programs that all these companies are offering. Do we as consumers really get treated loyally? I don't think so. Do we really get rewards, their discounts, and their cashbacks? Give us the best deal up front. Why do I need a cashback and go through the hassle? And why do I need a reward to go through all the hassle of getting a discount?
Yeah.
So in the BVR ONE world, we're creating true loyalty and true value and true wealth building by being loyal. That, to me, I've been in business for over 40 years. I've built multiple businesses. There's two factors, and we talked about this already, that are the most important part, getting back to speaking and not acting, is one, customers. Are they valuable to a company? 100%. What do companies do with customers? Abuse them. And now I won't go into naming them, but we all know. We've all felt like we haven't got the best deal from multiple companies. And we all have chatted about, what's the number one issue with companies? Shareholders, rate of returns. Now you can balance all that out, and that's what technology does for us. So that's one thing. And then, you look at the other is staff. People that actually do the job. Now we worry about AI. AI is going to take a percentage of the work away, but it's also going to improve the experiences that staff have and customers have. So utilize it as a value add tool. But we at BVR, we have our legacy plan, which is going to be introduced into our staffing, which they will then be able to feel like they have a added value in the wealth building of themselves within the whole ecosystem. And we get to give back to our customers. So it's revolutionary. And you guys know this. And this is one of the reasons we're so excited about having your skill set. So, give us a little bit about your understanding of that, what you're experiencing on the tech side, how it's marrying, and why you feel that this is going to be revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, we're investors, as advisors, as people who've talked to, I mean, I was counting one time, it's thousands of startups that we talk to on a pretty regular basis. First of all, there's a lot in AI, but to your point earlier, there's a lot that AI cannot do just yet, maybe in the future, but there's certainly things, especially around kind of that experience that you were talking about, that I think, again, experiencing it, it's not going to be impacted by AI right now. But the AI technology out there is able to help make your business more productive, and everyone else also who's part of it better at what they do as well. A lot of what we see, especially around crypto and kind of the future of what that technology can bring, what I'm most excited about is that, especially around the regulatory environment, we're at that kind of perfect intersection right now. We're not too early. People wondering if it's just fraud and used for the purposes of money laundering and all kinds of bad actors. And we're not at a point where everything is so limited and strict and, already taken that it's not kind of still new and innovative. I think we're at the right time right now where someone with a grand vision, someone who has that ability, can really create something meaningful, powerful, and that application of, innovative technology and truly kind of differentiated physical experience is really, really compelling and really, really exciting. And that's why we're really excited to experience what this could mean. We've seen what the technology is that we've discussed and how BVR ONE can work, as a token, as a method of reward, but you apply that and you connect that with the physical presence, the businesses that are already available. And now you make this an integrated part of the entire experience. It's transformative. So really excited to see that come to fruition. Yeah, we were talking and joking earlier. It's not about trying things. Not trying. There's no maybe, right? Yeah. So you do or you do not. And I know, Herb, you're someone who just does it. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. Yeah. And so we're excited to do this together.
Yeah. Well, and having you guys reaffirm the vision as a starter, a founder, and an executor, I would say that gives me the energy to know that there's quality people out there that actually support what it is I'm doing. And so it feeds on itself, and you've said this, Tristan, the dynamo. Yeah. And when that dynamo gets fed in the right direction, it just picks up speed. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And it's exciting when you smell it for the first time and you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got so much more to, you're going to get the experience today. We're going to go to Bali Beauty Center.
Yeah.
You've had our hospitality, you've had our digital, you've had our events. So you've experienced a number of things already. And then later today, we're going to go and do the Bali Beauty Center.
I think your event staff maybe made it so that we kind of were winning some of the events. I mean, I think it was almost like it was almost rigged, Tristan winning it, and I was the top 3 as well in that quiz, and then our other friend winning the beer pong, which almost like set up for Tristan again.
Yeah. Well,
this is a champion right here.
It's hilarious that you say that, but really, it was almost impossible to do that. Why I say that is because the team used an app, and you had to respond super quick on all the questions. And this guy, he was like, boom, 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 fast on everything.
Did you give him the answers ahead of time? What was going on there?
He was right in the front. He had nobody to talk to.
Yeah, he was like,
and he kept seeing his name pull up on the screen. Yeah. Tristan.
He wanted the certificate. He was like, I'm going to win this. I'm going to get that certificate.
Yeah. And then he went around because, he's the youngest in the group, I would say. He's got some experience with this beer pong. Yeah. And so he knew who he should be choosing as far as partners. So he picked 2 other people, and bang, he stacked the team.
Yeah.
Team building. It's a good skill to have.
Well, that's the importance of finding the right people, right, for your organization. He knew exactly who to pick.
Yeah. Well, it's like we said, you don't invest in ideas, ideally. Yeah. You invest in the people that execute.
That's right.
Yes, so he nailed it.
Yep.
So, I don't think it was rigged. This guy's a talented guy.
Your team knew what they were doing, so.
He knew. Yeah, he's an up-and-comer. He's sharp.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You watch him in the next 10 years. And we're happy to have him as part of our BVR ONE because BVR ONE, I mean, when you think about the opportunities, and we talked about this already, it's endless. Yeah. I've been in business for 40 years. I've built tons of businesses, big businesses, and they're still operating today, very successful. And so I've had that experience of knowing what businesses are. I mean, I've been in oil and gas industry. I've been in the printing business. I've been in the packaging business. I've been in the real estate business. I've been in the coffee business, the services business, the appraisal business, yada, 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 dozens. And so I've had a tremendous amount of experience. I'm in the franchise business, and when you look at the opportunities that this is going to do, and you look at small and medium-sized businesses, there are gazillions of them globally. And the tech that's coming into business and what we're putting into on real world, it is going to streamline and cut all of this nonsense and noise out. And who gets the benefit?
The customers.
The customers and the staff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where it should go. Technology should do that. And this is one of the things that I found so exciting about the new technology. And like you said, it's still in that gray area, but it's no longer a startup. So it's kind of at the right opportunity.
To me, that's the most exciting thing. It's about the fact that this technology is no longer just an idea, it's being impactful to real world people. Right? And now you're putting it into existing businesses they interact with and frequent on a daily basis, but now it's impacting all your customers, it's impacting all the employees, it's impacting all the businesses you work with, partner with. There's a lot of great opportunities there.
And how refreshing to have a conversation about a emerging technology that's doing good for your employees and your customers.
Yeah.
We just came from a conference where we got depressed like we always do. We talk about everything that agentic AI is going to replace. So it's always in the switch up.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And shouldn't we as experienced people in our skill sets try to improve it for the masses as opposed for the capital?
Yeah.
I mean, capital, by heart, I can say I'm a capitalist because without profit, you don't have anything. So you need to make revenue and you need to make income. But do you need to keep it in one spot? No. The funnel door needs to be widened because that is what we are supposed to be doing. We hear it from so many people in the world. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do good. And they start all these foundations and they spread their money out. You never know where it goes, if it goes. You don't know what impact it has, but it's something that makes you feel good when you stand in front of the group and you tell them what you're doing. But the reality is, where's the result? And this gets back to what I said in the very beginning. People talk, but where's the action? Building this has multiple actions that are embedded on blockchain. We all know blockchain is a record. We all know that it's recorded and it's not easily, if any, able to be corrupted.
I love that. And actually, we had this conversation. I have an event around fintech for social good with Richard Branson on Necker Island. Last year, one of my speakers was this incredible investor. And she said exactly that. It's like, when she's looking at investments, of course you want to make money and return on investment is important. But when you're thinking about the impact a business can have, a business, when they do well and continue to be a lasting business that generates revenue, will actually have more lasting impact, will be able to generate more social and positive impact on the world. And of course, very positive returns. So in her mind, it's not two separate things. And if you're thinking about like a lot of nonprofits out there, exactly like you said, they're not sustainable. They're constantly having to go fundraise and get money, and then who knows how much impact they're actually having. But a real business that can generate positive impact in just operating, that's actually the best way to actually create lasting impact and have a return on investment as well.
No, and great ideas, great execution, implementation, and proof of concept and operation on a foundation of reality that is really proven to do good attracts people like you guys that want to do good. And that's all about the people thing. So this is one of again, the numbers. Now, something just popped into my head. Wouldn't it be fantastic to have the Forbes list, instead of listing the individuals that are worth billions and billions of dollars, wouldn't it be fantastic to have a list of companies that actually get judged and or rated by what impact they have in their customers and their people.
The global impact list.
There you go.
Well, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be?
Can we get that started?
Yeah. It just came to me. I said, why don't we do that with companies
Yeah.
instead of individuals? I mean, we see these individual lists, 800 billion, 200 billion, 500 billion. What do
Yeah.
we even do with it? How do we know what they're doing with it?
Yeah.
Not that we should really be into that. No, everybody's got a private. But at the end of the day, when they stand up in front of a crowd of people and say, I'm doing, how do we know? We don't know.
Right.
Blockchain is going to tell how BVR is doing.
Yeah.
Right? The employees are going to know how BVR. The customers, when they go to talk to the employee, they're going to know. Everybody in the ecosystem is transparent.
It's going to be transparency. You won't have to tell. It's right there. It's
Exactly.
available. You can see it.
Yeah. And our team, I mean, I got to say, it takes time to build an organization.
Yeah.
This is what you guys understand as far as value. You can't just start a company instantly and have perfection. It just doesn't happen. That's what intelligent finance and investment knows. It takes time to build an organization. You got different dynamics, you got different people, you got different needs, you got different problems. I mean, their problems become the company's problems, et cetera, et cetera. But over time, you start to sift out the noise and you actually get a foundation. Now, what you want to do as an organizational leader, because you have a position as well, and you do with VCs and then, angels that put their capital forward, is you want to create an environment that's going to make that a healthy environment so that they can see that there's a future in the time that they're investing in an organization. Not job hunting from day to day and year to year and looking for something that they're never going to find.
Right.
Why? Because it's not promoted as being existing. Anyways, the BVR ONE has got a long way to go. And we're going to be implementing here. Everybody in the audience will start to see. We're going to be implementing in the next short while prototypes that are working within our businesses, wallets that you're going to have. It's already developed. We're just finalizing it. Points that are going to be registered, token that is going to be on chain. We're talking about, and Jimmy and Tristan have some very great connections in the chain business. And we're talking to two right now. And we're hoping to get, things settled with them. And there's a lot of moving parts right now on what we're doing and where we're at. And I think right now, we're getting to the point where we're ready to start assembling our first raise. These guys, they've seen dozens, if not hundreds of raises. And having our financials from a auditable financial organization, tokenomics, all of our stuff is all done professionally, which is again something that we stand behind, and we're excited to see what you're going to do with that and help us out. And in the long run, with our franchising and our BD and all of the America and the exposure of that, we're super excited to have you guys working with us.
Absolutely. We'll get on we'll get BVR on the global impact list.
Yeah.
That'll be very exciting.
Yeah. And this gentleman here, Jimmy, I mean, he puts on a yearly event that is just phenomenal. Your organizational skills and where you guys really network is amazing.
That was, I think, the greatest thing when we first met each other was like, it's that same philosophy. The origin of BVR is kind of like what I love, just creating connections, building valuable relationships. It's like music to my ears, and like knowing someone who is similar, I think that's what made us get along so quickly together.
Yeah. Well, it's, kindred spirits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a reality. And being in Bali, predominantly Hindu religion, and they believe in karma. I do now, living here for as many years. I told you the story about the flowers and how they change colors. Karma is something that you can't ignore.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits are something you can't ignore. And I think that's something that is proven today and will in the future, with the people that you're aligned with and BVR ONE's going to be aligned with, and how we're growing into that. So just a little bit about your experience with BVR, and of course Barry Amore, which is a villa project, 20 plus villas, private, adults, themed towards romantic. You guys did have separate villas, so we're good.
Still very romantic. Very, very romantic.
Yeah. But we're really thankful for Barry Amore and the team.
Yeah. No, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you team, Barrymore, and we look forward to bringing more of our guests.
We're just really excited about this, and we're excited to share this journey with you too. So if you want to get involved and learn, keep following us. Watch these podcasts. There's more to come. We have a lot of really special guests in the docket, and just educate yourself, and then come experience it in Bali.
I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I think that's the next step. People should
Seriously.
experience it for themselves because it becomes real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's nothing like smelling it, tasting it,
Yeah.
and experiencing the smiles from the team and the care and you look at the big branded hotels, they've lost it.
Yeah, seriously.
They have lost that hospitality touch.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we need to embed, is that we don't become that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why having this legacy plan structure and the way we've created it, it brings that to a point of accountability on a regular basis. So years of experience, I've seen so many different areas of problems, and I think that this is really going to make the difference.
Yeah.
The best way to police implementation and maintenance of a culture is from the bottom up, not from the top down.
Yeah.
And that I can tell you from years of experience, that's the only way. Because the top down can make decisions on spend, they can make decisions on philosophies, they can sound good to the shareholders, but if the bottom up doesn't start implementing it and aren't motivated to implement it, it won't happen. It'll get filtered out from the top. Management gets it, and then from there, it gets lost.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
Please subscribe, share, like, and follow us, because you're going to see a lot of great things coming over the next months as we roll these out. And I am very confident, and please confirm to me that we're going to be seeing you guys
Absolutely.
quite a bit.
We're definitely going to be back.
Yeah.
There you go. Much appreciated.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
thank you guys for listening.
We're gonna rock it like Herb.